What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have UK versus US healthcare. We have her experience. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy this, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and if you would like to support this channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit the join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Let's dive right in.
So some of you may know I spent most of my adult life in the UK, and I'm a British citizen, so I really only had experience with the NHS in terms of my adult interaction with taking care of my health. And a lot of you guys have asked, what has it been like, that transition? And, well, hard. First of all, the big difference, you come to the end of your appointment or your blood test or even before these items, and it's money, please. You better have some money. And that may sound obvious, but
that's facts. I mean, it's absolute facts, and it's crazy work, but it's true.
It is so much more pervasive than just the act of handing over a credit card or paying your insurance bill every month. You feel like the healthcare here is a class system. And I think that's simply because it is. Like, you go through these different insurance packages, and like maybe they're like bronze, silver, gold, platinum. That's literally how you can filter them on the side of the screen. And I mean, yes, they're signifiers to denote how much coverage you're gonna have, or your, I don't even know, your deductible shenanigans. I can't even try to stay neutral on this subject. I think it's ridiculous.
It is.
I know
Absolutely.
the NHS is not perfect.
Absolutely.
And I know the UK and the NHS in general have been in and continue to be in a lot of trouble. So I'm not just sitting here being like, they got it all figured out and we're screwed up here. No, that's not what I'm saying. But in terms of a care for your people, all I can say is in the UK, I felt universally cared for. And
there
here, I feel like if I have the funds to pay for care, then I'm allowed to be healthy. So easily number one.
That's exactly it. In one country, I mean, basically to put it in simple terms, in one country, healthcare is a right. In another country, healthcare is a privilege. And over here, if you don't have the money, you don't get the care. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I 100% agree with her. In the U.S., everything is about the bottom line, is about the dollar. And then when you think about I mean, healthcare being so expensive, you also think now, when you start thinking about the food that we're fed, that compared to the standards that Europe has, a lot of the food that we eat, like, almost seems designed to make us sick compared to the standard of food that Europe has and the food that they eat. So it's like they're designed to make us sick, to have to go to the hospital, to have to go bankrupt trying to pay these medical bills. And then people born with pre-existing conditions that they're going to have for the rest of their lives, the healthcare is just going to take from them their entire lives. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
One, the most confusing thing has been navigating what insurance to get. Luckily, through my job, I'm self-employed, but I get insurance through my job, sort of. It is pretty much, you get this package and that's that. So I didn't really have to choose so intricately. Number two has been finding the right doctors. Your choice in doctors. In the UK, your GP pretty much does everything. They see kids, they see adults, they see asthmatics, they see people with mental health conditions. That doctor has the power to treat all of those things, to prescribe you antidepressants, to prescribe you an inhaler, to treat a baby and an elderly person. And this is all I ever knew.
Really?
So I had an endocrinology team and I had my GP. That was pretty much it. Every year I'd go for an eye exam where they'd screen my eyes and take scans of my retinas and all that stuff to make sure there wasn't any degradation in my eyes due to diabetes. But that was pretty much it. Here, I have spent so much time registering with different doctors. So much so to the point where I finally registered with the GP, or your primary care physician as they call it here, and I was like, okay, great, I'm diabetic, so I need my insulin prescription. And she just said, oh, no, like, I don't prescribe insulin, Absolutely not. You have to go to your endocrinologist for that.
Crazy.
So I did have an appointment with my endocrinologist, but because he was, a good endocrinologist that had a waiting list, I couldn't see him for like 3 months.
Jeez.
So I was like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I was also so shocked that the primary care couldn't prescribe insulin. It was totally, categorically unwilling. So that has been a big shock to me, in that in order to get the treatment that I need,
it's ridiculous.
I have to go to all these different doctors, and every doctor has somewhat of a different system. So, you go in, you fill out the paperwork, you go through all the initial questions, and then they want their own blood work, which all costs money. And at the end of all these appointments, money please. You gotta have the money to pay for the insurance, and then you gotta have the money to take time off work to go see these various different doctors, because they're different places. The transport to get there or the transit time to get there is different. It just demands so much of a person, and you have to be so organized and on top of it, which I always thought, in the UK, if you're your own advocate, you can get the care you need. And I still believe that, but you would always be getting that through your general practitioner for the most part. Whereas in the US, I feel equally, if not more, the need to advocate for myself, because you're choosing doctors from a directory of 1,000 different options, which sounds great, and there is a plus to that, but it's also incredibly complicated and confusing.
But it's just ridiculous. You have to go through this entire process where in the UK, your GP can handle all of these things and can do so much in that position. But in the US, what is it about? Money, money, money. That's why you got to go see this doctor and that doctor and this doctor. And then you got to get this blood work and that blood work and this blood work. And the blood work is absolutely ridiculous price. The doctor visit is an absolutely ridiculous price. All of it is just, it's craziness, because here it is about, it's about money. The bottom line is dollar bills. It's not about your health. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got enough to pay us, we can't help you. You just die. You don't got no money, you just die. So, and I think that's an absolutely awful system. But that's how it is here, and that sucks. I don't have health care because I just don't have the money to spend monthly. I need to figure out something that's affordable for me, though, because that's absolutely necessary in case anything happens to me. But it's just ridiculous.
And time consuming to look up all the reviews and make sure you're choosing a doctor that is going to be good for you. The other thing I think is a very dividing factor that I've seen is the amount of time you need to be able to devote, yes, but also savvy, smart nature you need to have to know that, for example, I can go to this pharmacy and I can get a better rate there. My insurance works best with this pharmacy, or sometimes I should use my insurance for this prescription, but other times I should use a coupon or a good RX. That is actually going to make that more cost effective. You need to be constantly on the alert and bobbing and weaving through these different options to be savvy to make sure you are getting the best deal. Which, I'll be honest with you, deal and healthcare, these are just concepts that in my adult life have not been alive in my mind. And I know I'm very, 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 very lucky to say that. But I feel you need to be pretty darn educated and have the confidence to call places up and to use coupons that you might not be sure are going to work, or advocate for yourself when you know it's right through the insurance, but the person providing isn't providing the same thing that you were told you were going to get. These are all things that the consumer here really needs to have if you're going to get the most bang for your buck, I guess, which don't we all want that? Especially when you're dealing with a chronic condition that you have many different medications that you have to keep renewing every single month. You want to make sure you're doing the smartest thing possible. So we relocated about a year ago, and because of this being a whole new system to me, I am only just getting to grips with things and getting in place a structure of how I'm going to get my medications every month. And I really don't mean to sound like I'm complaining or bashing the American healthcare system, but this is just what I've experienced, and a genuine comparison to what I experienced on the NHS in the UK for the last 15 years.
No, you absolutely. It doesn't sound like you're complaining. It sounds like you're being honest and you're calling out the U.S. healthcare system for the absolute crap that it is.
And I should say, as an addendum to the it's free in the UK, the NHS is a taxed system. So I believe it is about 20% of the people's income tax goes toward the NHS.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but I believe that's a general gist. So you are paying for it in a certain sense, absolutely. But it's in alignment in terms of the percentage to your own personal income taxes. And a lot of people have a big problem about that, because then the more wealthy are funding it more so than the less wealthy. And I hear that, but from an ethical and moral perspective, I personally find that to be a more suitable way to care for a public. And if I'm
100% agree. 100% agree. And that is a difficult topic when you think of like people who have more money and they're upset about having to pay more. But like, bro, you have it to spare. There are people out here with nothing. There are people, they don't have it. You have it to spare. Why would you not want to help people? Now I understand taking an exorbitant amount. I understand being frustrated about that. But like, of course we can't tax everybody the same. I'm not going to make a person who makes $500 a week pay the same as a millionaire. Like, no. What's crazy, even crazier here, is that the millionaire will figure out how to pay less than that person who makes $500 a week. That's what's bonkers here. It's what's bonkers here.
Paying more than people that are less fortunate financially, I'm really okay with that. But I understand that can be a very divisive subject, and I get it.
I agree with you.
I'm so certain of where I stand on that front.
I feel you.
I'm happy to say it. And if you want to come at me in the comments, that's fine. Moving to the US,
with you.
I always knew this. And it was a factor I had to get to grips with when we decided to move. And it's so much more complicated than I could ever have understood watching US bloggers and whatnot talk about it. You can hear people talk about this, but it's not till you're really in the thick of it that like you realize just how complicated and overwhelming it is. This isn't meant to be a bash on the US system. The quality of care that I've found has been excellent. It's just the route to get to that care and what you need to have access to that care bothers me a lot. And I'm lucky because I have the capability to do what I need to do and pay for what I need to pay to get access to what I need to not only survive, but like thrive and live a healthy life. So I fully stand up and appreciate that as well. Like I say, always, I wish you great blood sugars, straight CGM lines, if you can have access to a CGM. But most of all, I wish you a happy, healthy mind with it all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
But yeah, I'm all with her. I completely agree with everything that she said. It's just ridiculous here, and I'm all for the if you have more money, then you're gonna have to give a bit more. You should be taxed percentage wise according to what you make. You shouldn't. There's not a cutoff price that just say everybody's gonna pay this amount. Nope, your tax percentage. You make more, you're gonna have to give a little more. You have it. And like she said, that is a very divisive argument, and there's certain things I don't necessarily pick a side on, but that thing I'm on the side of, because there's millions of people who need health care who are denied because they're not fortunate enough to have the funds, and there are people in the world who have more money than they need, and so you can give a little more. That's all we have. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Get a video a thumbs up. Check out the next one. I'll see y'all next time.